You're talking about the big finale of The Hills coming up this weekend. What's going on in the finale? Can you give us any sneak peeks?
Sunday is a really big day for me. Our finale's on at 8 p.m., and then the movie awards follow right after at 9 p.m. And, it's the last episode of, the first part of this season, so that is always really special for us. Especially it's the wedding episode. Spencer and Heidi finally do it, and I think it's an episode that really comes full circle for the fans, for the cast. It's Lauren's last episode, but she still does go to the wedding, so I think it's cool. It's going to be a cool experience for everybody to see.
Very cool. And so you went to the wedding too, right?
I did, yes.
And was that something, how do you feel about Spencer and Heidi? Are you indifferent? Do you hate them as much as Lauren does?
No, oh my gosh, no. They haven't done anything to me, and so I have tried to, maintain a friendly relationship with them, all the time. Of course, I'm going to stick up for my best friend if something goes wrong. But, I think I'm pretty indifferent to them, and I do really, really like Heidi.
Mm-hmm.
So I was happy to go, to support them on that day.
Very cool, very cool. And are you coming back next year for sure?
Well, it's interesting because the next few episodes you guys are going to see, the Kristen Cavallari episodes, I like to call them, that is not season 6. That's just an extension of the season that's going on right now. So beyond that, I don't know if there's a season 6. And I'm transitioning into television hosting, so it would be a tough decision for me. Hopefully I'd be able to do both because I really do love the show, but it would be a big decision, one that I haven't made yet.
Oh, interesting. Hey, that's a good dilemma to have. And speaking of the television hosting stuff, you're doing some work for the movie awards?
I am. I'm a guest correspondent for MTV News, especially for the movie awards, which is really cool. I've been getting to interview celebrities. I'm going to parties. Basically, I'm giving all the viewers sort of like a backstage look at what young Hollywood does to prepare for, award season. So it's really cool. You're going to, see stylists and parties and me working out with me getting my butt kicked by
That's awesome. So, that's kind of what you want to do after all this dies down?
It is. I don't know if, it's MTV News specifically, but it's something in the hosting arena. I love Kelly Ripa. I love The View. I think a younger version of that show would be so, so cool. So
you should start in radio. You should move to Billings here and just co-host my show with me.
You play a lot of baseball in Billings, right?
Sure.
I know some people who've come through Billings to play
really?
minor league baseball from college.
Yeah, we do that here. That's awesome. You should join them sometime. I think that'd be the good stepping off point. Like MTV, then radio and Billings, next step, Access Hollywood.
I think you're right.
Right on. How'd you get involved in the whole Hills thing? Like, what's your backstory with those girls?
Backstory? Well, I was on Laguna Beach, which was on years ago on MTV, and that was sort of, the first show out of all of these, The Hills, the city, that sort of a thing. And when I was living in LA for college, Lauren and I were hanging out, and sometimes she would film, and that's sort of how they asked me to rejoin the show.
Very cool. So it wasn't like something you didn't come to LA knowing that the show was there to try to be a part of it or anything?
No, I went to college in LA, so that was my draw for being in the city.
The Laguna Beach thing, a lot of people think, that they think the Hills, all those shows are just really contrived and set up and staged. How did it all started with Laguna Beach. How was the casting done for that? Some people, say that they brought you guys in from other places or that they created all that.
For Laguna, they, decided that they wanted to film in our town, and they came to our school and, cast us there. So it's funny because we, do you remember Janet Jackson Nipplegate at the Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
That was right when they were casting our show, and our school board originally was going to let them film in our classrooms and stuff. You see that in a lot of MTV shows. And after that, they pulled the plug. But by then, they'd cast us all, so, they had their people, so then they just took it to parties and to our houses and to restaurants. And I think that is actually maybe a blessing in disguise, because I think that The Hills is also framed by a lot of that sort of thing, too.
Yeah, definitely. And so when they cast you guys, the rest of it was just real life? Like what we see on Laguna Beach is pretty much like what life was like for you guys?
Yeah, it pretty much was it. Laguna was it was a really organic experience. It was the executive producers, sort of first go at reality television, and, the result was something that I don't think it was naive, but I think that it was really sweet, and I think that people liked it, just because, even though it showed this fantastic side of living, in Orange County, because the show The OC was on then, and it was super popular. It was, just normal kids just living their lives, which
doing their thing. Is life normal for you now, or is it crazy because people recognize you?
It depends on the day. I try to surround myself with as much normalcy as possible. I hang out with my family down in Orange County a lot, and I have a great boyfriend who's not on the show, and most of my best friends don't participate at all. So there's days when I work, when I film, and I'm with those people, and then there's the other days that I spend my time with people who, have normal jobs and don't want anything to do with it.
Normal people.
Normal people.
When you walk down the streets, though, go shopping in L.A. or something, do you get recognized all the time? Has it hit that level yet?
Yeah, definitely. I pretty much go places and people just give me funny looks and stuff. It sort of is month to month. When the show's on air, we're definitely more popular, and when we're on hiatus, it sort of goes away a little bit more. So it just depends. But the worst is when you go to a club in LA and it's the paparazzi outside, and that's crazy. That's something that I think. If you've never experienced it, you should at least try to see it, because it's ridiculous. Yeah,
exactly. We see the pictures and stuff, and we don't see behind the camera of all the photographers there and how crazy it gets.
Yeah, it's like a sea of flashing lights. You walk out of a club and you're blinded every single time.
I envy you. The big finale of The Hills is coming up this weekend. It looks awesome. And then also a special correspondent for the MTV Movie Awards. Lo, thanks so much for joining us on the show, and best of luck in your future endeavors.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
The Big J Show. Weekday mornings from 6 till 10 on Billings' #1 hit music station, Hot 101.9.